Hi friends, this is my fourth video of the securities market under investment analysis and portfolio management, and today in this topic we will discuss about trading and settlement system. Now let us discuss first about trading. Each stock exchanges has certain listed securities and permitted securities which are traded on it. Members of the exchange alone are entitled to the trading privileges. Investors interested in buying or selling securities should place their orders with the members, also called as brokers of the exchanges. There are two ways of organizing the trading activity: the open outcry system and the screen based system. Now first let us discuss about open outcry system. As the nomenclature suggests, under the open outcry system, traders shout and resort to the signals to the trading floor of the exchange, which consists of several notional trading posts of the different securities. A member or his representative wishing to buy or sell a certain security reaches to the trading post where the security is traded. Here, he comes in contact with others interested in transacting in that security. Buyers make their bids and sellers make their offers, and bargains are closed at mutually agreed upon prices. In stocks where jobbing is done, a jobber plays an important role. He stands ready to buy or sell on his account. He quotes his bid, that is buying price, and asks, that is selling prices. He provides some stability and continuity to the market. Now we will discuss about screen-based system. In the screen-based system, the trading ring is replaced by the computer screen and the distance participants can trade with each other through the computer network. A large number of participants, geographically separated, can trade simultaneously at high speeds. The screen-based trading system enhances the information efficiency of the market as more participants trade at faster speed, permits the market participants to get full view of the market, which increases their confidence in the market, and the last that it establishes transparent audit trails. While computerized trading is more efficient, it decidedly lacks the vibrancy and vitality of the floor trading. Traditional floor trading. Technology seems to have its own way of pushing colorful traditions and practices into oblivion. Now we will first something discuss something about block deals. A block deal is a deal involving a minimum quantity of 5 lakh shares or a minimum value of 5 color. This is a separate window for block deals on the BSE and NSE. These deals can take place only between 9:55 a.m. and 10:25 a.m. Block deals involve simultaneous large scale buy and sell transactions at a predetermined price. This is different from the usual price discovery mechanism, in which a number of buyers and sellers compete against each other. The purpose of having a separate window and mechanism for block deals is to check intraday volatility and prevent disruption of normal trading. In essence, block deals are negotiated transactions outside the exchange. However, they are given effect in a predetermined manner on the exchange, primarily for reporting purpose. Till 1994, trading on the stock exchange in India was based on open outcry system. With the establishment of the National Stock Exchange in 1994, India entered the era of screen-based trading. Within a short span of time, screen-based trading has supplanted the open outcry system on all the stock exchanges in the country. Thanks to SEBI's initiative in this respect, No country has achieved such a transformation so rapidly. The kind of screen based trading system adopted in India is referred to as Open Electronic Limit Order Book, that is ELOB market system. The key features of these systems are as follows. Buyers and sellers place their orders on the computer. These orders may be limit orders or market orders. A limit order pre-specifies the price limit. For example, a limit order to buy a price of rupees 90 means the trader wants to buy at a price not greater than 90. Likewise a limit order is to sell at a price of rupees 95 means that the trader wants to sell at a price not less than rupees 95. A market order is an order to buy or sell the best prevailing price. A market order is to sell. The market order to sell will be executed at the highest bid price, whereas the market order to buy will be executed at the lowest ask price. The computer constantly tries to match mutually compatible orders. A matching is done on a price time priority basis, implying that the price is given preference over time in the process of matching. A buy order at the high limit price is accorded precedence over a buy order at a lower limit price. By the same token, a sell order at the lower limit price is given priority over the sell order at the higher limit price. Between two limit orders placed at the same price, the limit order placed earlier is accorded priority over the limit order placed later. I repeat, between two limit orders placed at the same price, the limit order placed earlier is accorded priority over the limit order placed later. The limit order book, that is, the list of unmatched limit order, is displayed on the screen. Put differently, it is open for inspection to all the traders. Now we will discuss something about limit order book. Because of the limit orders may not be executed immediately on submission, at any given time there are active limit orders. A limit order is the current set of active limit orders, arranged first by price and then by time. This means that high price buy orders and low price sell orders have the highest priority. Limit orders with the same price are arranged in such a way that the orders submitted earlier are given priority over orders submitted later. Graphically, the cumulative limit order book may look. Now we will discuss about screen based trading. Is the screen based sorry is the screen based trading always advantageous? Is the screen based trading always advantageous? Now we will discuss about this. Thus, the growing popularity of the screen based trading suggests that eventual disappearance of intermediaries in the secondary market. This may not happen because there is a flip side to the transparency associated with the screen based trading. Since transparency allows everyone to get a better idea of buy and sell orders, institutional investors who trade in large quantities may suffer adverse price impacts. Even though their trades are not motivated by private information, they may not be able to communicate their innocuousness to the market. Hence, they tend to suffer adverse price impact. Or a large sell order, presumably originating from an institutional investor, have private information, depress the price to the detriment of the institutional seller. Likewise, a large buy order from an institutional raises the price and hurts the buyer. Such adverse market impacts prod large size traders to trade elsewhere. As Ravi Ayushman says, no wonder large size trades still prefers specialized markets. For example, the upstairs markets in the NYSE to screen-based trading system. Institutional investors, that is the portfolio managers, may move their trade back to the intermediate centralized marketplace that is less transparent. V. Ravi Ayushman IT and the changing face of Indian stock market says this. ETIT I repeat, V. Ravi Ayushman says that IT and the changing forces of Indian stock exchanges, which was published in ETIT in February 1999. I will put that link in my description. Now we will discuss about settlement. Traditionally, trades in India were settled by physical delivery. This means that the securities has to physically move from the seller to the seller's brokers and from the seller's broker to the buyer's brokers through the clearing house of the exchange or directly and from the buyer's brokers to the buyer. Further, the buyer has to lodge the securities with the transfer agents of the company, and the process of transfer took 1 to 3 months. This led to high paperwork cost and created bad paper risk. To mitigate the cost and risk associated with the physical delivery, security transactions in the developed market are settled mainly through electronic delivery facilitated by depositories. A depository is an institution which dematerializes physical certificates and effects transfer to the ownership of electronic book entries. To enable the creation of depositories to facilitate dematerialized trading in India, the central government promulgated the Depository Ordinance 1995, which was followed by the Depositories Act 1996. The highlights of the Depositories Act are as follows. Every depository will be required to register with the Securities and Exchange Board of India. Investors will have to choice of continuing with the existing share certificates or opt for a depository mode. Investors opting to join depository mode are required to register with the agents of the depositories. This will be custodial agencies like bank, financial institutions and large broker firms. While the depository will be registered owner in the registrar of the company, the investor will enjoy the economic benefits as well as the voting rights on the share concerned. Shares in the depository mode will be fungible. This means that they will cease to have distinctive numbers. Investors have entered the depository mode can leave the system and get share certificates from the company as registered owner in the books of the company. Ownership changes in the depository system will be made automatically on the basis of delivery against payments. Further, there will be no stamp duty on the transfer of ownership. Any loss caused to the beneficial owners due to the negligence of the depository or the participant will be indemnified by the depository. The National Securities Depository Limited, that is the NSDL, India's first depository, was set up in 1996. It was followed by Central Securities Depositories Limited, that is CDSL. Both the depositories, the NSDR in particular, have recorded a significant growth in their operations. SEBI has made dematerialized trading compulsory for all the stock exchange in the country. This means that if you want to buy or sell shares on any exchange, you have to do it only in the dematerialized form. Of course, two parties can engage in an off market spot transaction that can be settled through the delivery of shares in the physical firm. This is a transfer duty. There is a transfer duty of 0.50% on physical transfer. Now we will see about shift to rolling settlement. Till recently, share transactions in India were settled on the basis of weekly account period. On the Bombay Stock Exchange, the account period was Monday to Friday, and on the National Stock Exchange, the account period was Wednesday to Tuesday. This means that the purchases and sales during a account period could be squared up, and at the end of the account period, transaction could be settled on the net basis. For example, if you bought 100 shares of Infosys on Bombay Stock Exchange and on Monday at 5,000, a share sold at 95 shares of Infosys at 5050 rupees 5050 on the Friday of that week, you are required to take delivery of only 5 shares by paying 20,250, which means there is a purchase consideration of rupees 5 lakh minus sale consideration of rupees rupees 4 lakhs 79,750 at the end of the account period. The weekly settlement system along with the Badala system of carrying forward transaction from one account period to the next according to many informed observers of the Indian stock market led to the unbridled speculative activity and the periodic market crisis. So, SEBI decided to introduce rolling settlement in a phased manner from 2002. Under the compulsory rolling settlement now in vogue every day represents a new settlement periods. Put differently, the trading cycle, which was earlier 1 week, has been reduced to 1 day. This means that you have to square an open position the same day, otherwise, you have to take or give delivery depending on your position. Presently, the settlement of all trades is on T plus 2 basis, and the settlement cycle is as follows. Now the settlement cycle for T plus 2 day on the day that is the activity of the day. T means on which the trade is done. Actually T means trade, and T plus 1 means the and on T plus 1 the custodial confirmation and final obligations takes place, as well as on T plus 2 pay in or payout of the funds and securities takes place. On T plus 3 auctions for shortages takes place. On T plus 4 I don't know about T plus 4, but on the T plus 5 pay in or payout of funds and securities for auctions takes place. Note that we have to note that this depicts that the settlement cycle for the T plus 2 market segment, the days prescribed in the activities may change in case of factors like holidays, bank closing, etc. Now we will discuss something about transaction cost. Transaction cost may be divided into three broad headings: trading cost, clearing cost, and settlement cost. First, we will discuss about trading cost. Trading cost consists of brokerage cost, market impact cost, and securities transaction tax. Brokerage cost is the brokerage paid to the broker due to the heightened competition in the stockbroking. Brokerage cost has fallen significantly. Market impact cost. Market impact cost is the difference between the actual transaction price and the idle price, the latter being defined as the price at which the trade will occur if the market for the stock were perfectly liquid or infinitely deep. To illustrate this, suppose that the best buy and best sell price of the stock are rupees 49.50 and 50.50. respectively, at the given point of time. If the market were perfectly liquid, the ideal price would be say rupees 50. Thus, a person who buys immediately has to pay rupees 50.50, suffering a buy side market impact cost of rupees of zero point 0.5 paise or 1%. Likewise, a other person who wants to sell immediately will get only rupees 49.5, suffering a sell side market impact cost of rupees zero point 0.5 or 1%. Thanks to the deepening of Indian stock market, particularly for the large and medium capitalization stocks, the market impact cost has come down substantially. Now we will discuss about Securities Transaction Tax, that is STT. It is STT is a levy on securities transactions. Currently, for delivery based trades in equity, the levy is 0.25% and the same is to be split equally between the buyer and the seller. This means that for a transaction worth rupees 100, the buyer and the seller will have to pay 12.5 paise each. For transaction on which STT is paid, the new tax treatment on capital gains will apply. For delivery based trades, that is days trades and arbitrage trades, in equity the levy is only 0.035% and the same has to be split evenly between the buyer and the seller. Day traders and arbitrageurs can take claim deduction of STT for computing taxable projects. Now we will see about clearing cost. When a negotiated trade takes place, the counterparty may default, or when a trade takes place on the exchange may default in its payout. Clearing costs are costs experienced in resolving such defaults. Historically, clearing corporations in India were high. Thanks to the establishment of the clearing corporation at NSE, a clearing corporation becomes the legal counterparty to the net settlement obligations of each broker and clearing houses on the other exchange. Clearing house in India have been virtually eliminated. Now we will discuss about settlement cost. A trade is finally consummated when securities and funds actually change hands. Settlement costs are costs associated with such transfer. With the advent of dematerialization, elimination of stamp duty on the dematerialized trades, and improvement of banking technology, settlement costs have come down substantially. I repeat again, a trade is finally consummated when securities and funds actually change hands. Settlement costs are costs associated with such transfer. When the advent of dematerialization, elimination of stamp duty on dematerialized trades, and improvement of banking technology, settlement costs have come down substantially. Thanks to the introduction of screen based trading and electronic delivery, the stock market has been veritably transformed. Their combined effect has been to reduce the transaction cost in India's stock market dramatically. As of mid 1993, according to the Ajay Shah and Susan Thomas, the total transaction cost in Indian market was 5%. Presently, it is around 0.50%. The details are given in this table. First, we'll see about trading. Sorry for that. First, we will see about trading in the mid 1993. The brokerage cost for trading in 1993 was 3.75 and the brokerage cost was 3%. Market impact cost was 0.75% and the counterparty risk was there because it is in the present scenario we can call it as a OTC market, that is over the counter market. The settlement was done at 1.25% of the trade. The paperwork was 0.75% and the bad paper risk was 0.5%. So if we combine all this, it will take 5% in a round figure as 5% plus the additional risk. And today for the same trading, it takes 0.4%, brokerage cost takes 0.25%, market impact cost takes 0.15%, and the counterparty risk is nil. As BS as the stock exchange acts as a counterparty to the both buyer and the seller, and the settlement is done as 0.1%. The paperwork is also done at 0.1%, and there is no bad paper risk, and in total it takes only 0.5% without risk. Now we will see the role of clearing corporation. While the stock exchange provides the trading platform, the clearing corporation looks after the post-trade activities such as clearing all trades, determining the obligations of members, arranging for pay-in of funds or securities, arranging for payouts of funds or securities to the members, guaranteed settlement, and collecting and maintaining margins, collateral, base capital, and other funds. The clearing corporation is connected to the exchange, the clearing banks, depositories, custodians, and members electronically. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys.